Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Team Dinner. My name is Jack Maloney, and my guest today is Matt Shearer.
What's up, Jack?
Matt.
Oh my God, you're feeding me. I'm sorry. I'm talking with food in my mouth. My mom will be so mad, but whatever.
No rules here.
Oh, yeah.
No rules.
That's what I'm all about. No rules.
No rules. Just right. All right. Actually, that's a good transition. So, normally we ask some sort of kind of easy question to start off, but I'm going to start you with a hard-hitting question to get things going.
I work in news. I can handle hard hitting.
All right.
Let's go.
As someone from Massachusetts, born and raised,
Yep.
I'm going to ask you to rank 5 regional restaurant chains in order. Okay?
Ooh.
So some were specifically left off. I'm going to give them to you.
Okay, good.
Yeah, not a blind ranking.
Okay.
Yeah, just a true ranking.
Okay.
So some were left off. Dunkin' Donuts not on there.
Okay.
They're too big.
Sure.
And so this is it. Ready? I'll go through them once. And we'll
Let's
talk
do it.
Right? Friendly's,
Okay.
Papa Gino's,
Okay.
Legal Seafoods, 99 Restaurants,
Okay.
and Honeydew Donuts.
Okay, 99 is number one, without question.
I love it.
I mean, yeah, the steak tips are so good. It's like the taste of home. I'm actually going to put Papa Gino's at number 2.
Yeah.
And that's, I feel like controversial because obviously Papa Gino's has changed a lot over the years. But when I was a kid, I remember you could get like a booth right next to a window where you could see in the kitchen and they were making your food and stuff, occasionally selling weed. And it was delicious. And it was like my favorite thing in the world. And so Friendly's, I'm going to put below that.
Okay.
You know what I respect about Friendly's is just like, they're so real when it comes to food. I remember eating there once with my wife, and my wife, who's so paranoid about bacteria and stuff, she's like, "Can I have my burger well done?" And they go, "We don't do well done." She's like, "What?" They go, "We do pink or no pink."
Oh, good.
And so she's like, "Okay, no pink."
No pink, please.
So they brought it up. So, love Friendly's. What did I leave off?
We have Honeydew and Legal.
Okay, yeah, no, that's pretty good to have at the bottom there. I would say Honeydew number 4. I'm always like, yeah, man, let's go Honeydew. You're the underdog, and then I go and it's fine.
I agree.
It's fine. And then they do have better donuts though.
Yes.
Better food overall.
Yes.
I will say that.
I agree.
The cleanliness inside is a different story. And yeah, Legal. I'm gonna put Legal at the bottoms. Not a big seafood guy myself, and they have gone a little downhill over the years too.
That's fair.
So.
All right, so we have 99. Papa G's, Friendly's, Honeydew, Legal.
I'm good with that.
It's a good order. I think this is like the most Massachusetts question I've ever asked.
And I love it.
Um,
And pretty soon you're gonna have to put Ground Round back on that list because they're coming back.
It's so funny you say that. I almost did that as a call out to the return, and I was like, that's too niche. Because I think no one.
Man.
I think no one. Because Ground Round's
No one
gone.
under the age of 30 knows what it is.
I think that's what it is. I was like,
Yeah.
I found myself in a conversation recently, and I was explaining how. Do you remember Ground Round had the worms and dirt and like a baseball hat? Do you remember that?
Oh my gosh, I don't remember that being a Ground Round thing, but I've had that dish before, and that is a classic New
It
England
was
dish.
a plastic baseball helmet,
Like a Red Sox hat?
Yeah, and they would put like the pudding and the worms,
Cookie crumbles,
and the Oreo.
Yeah, that was good. That was good stuff. My lasting memory of Ground Round was like somebody slipped on some popcorn on the floor and like sued the company. You're gonna have to look that up. Someone please fact check that. I'm pretty sure somebody slipped on popcorn at the Ground Round and sued the place.
And that was the end. I love your. I have a. For me, I think it's like at different stages of my life, with the exception of Honeydew. Each of those places has been a favorite. Like Friendly's when I was a kid, no doubt about it. Papa Gino's in high school, that was the spot. Legal was, I guess, I would put it in kind of like when I was learning, like I liked seafood, maybe in my late teens. And then the 9s is where I'd love to go now.
I gotta say, not to harp on the Ground Round too long, but I just remembered another big part of their downfall.
Yes.
People at some point in the 90s decided that they don't like clowns anymore. Clowns are not funny. Like, it's ridiculous to think about. There was a time in American history where clowns were like family friendly. I mean, they still are. No disrespect to my fellow clowns.
Yeah.
Who are listening, because I am a clown myself, not professionally. But like, I just feel bad for the people. In fact, I did an interview with a clown out in Worcester. Her name is Kate the Clown, and she is the kind of clown that you can actually hire to like be with you to break bad news to somebody. Like if you want to break up with your girlfriend, you can have a clown do it for you. And she does that for people. I forget what it's called. Emotional support clown. That's what it is. And so no disrespect to the clowns, but the thing is, yeah, it's like they're not like, kids don't like clowns anymore.
They're not in vogue.
No. And so that was like the ground round's whole thing. It was like, come here and be a clown. Yeah, or something.
I love it. All right. Great. That's a great entry point here.
This is good pizza, by the way.
Oh yeah, I didn't even say. Oh my God, we're eating Johnny Pomodoro from Charlestown today. How rude of me.
Something you had mentioned. You took a bite before we started filming here and mentioned the honey. You're 100% right. It's like, but the honey isn't on top. The honey is on the bottom. It's like sticky on the bottom. It's as if they like pulled the pizza out of the oven and like dipped it in honey and then put it in the box. But it's really good. It works so well.
Yeah, good Detroit style pizza.
Sweet and savory mix.
Shout out Johnny Pomodoro. All right, Matt. Now, let's take a step back. I think, as someone who's been following you for years, but I think you were already quite well into your journey, as a journalist, certainly, and as making videos. I'd love to kind of start, I know you mentioned you went to Emerson, and then, you were, set out on the path to be a journalist. And it's like, how did it start? How did you start making these videos? I think, you work for a talk radio, right, station, and you've found this incredible success making videos for social media, right, which is not maybe the most intuitive path.
No, it's funny. I mean, I have been in radio my whole career since I graduated. And like, I know a lot of people in journalism, that's what they want to do is tell stories and do news. And for me, it was more the medium. I just loved radio, and I loved listening to it growing up and I wanted to do it. And so I've been doing it for a long time in different formats. I did talk radio, as you mentioned. I did top 40 radio for 7 years, like rock radio. But then the pandemic happened, and I was suddenly unemployed. And I get this call from BZ, the one station that was hiring, because it makes a lot of sense if you think about it. It was a pandemic. It was an election year. They needed people. But I'm like, I've never been a reporter before. I don't know if I can do this. But they convinced me that they wanted somebody who could think a little different and have a different approach to storytelling. So I'm like, hell yeah, let's go. I'm a creative-minded kind of person. I think everything, when you go to Emerson College, it's like everything is built on the foundation of art. And I know it's so pretentious to talk about like social media videos as like art, but like you have to see the world that way in order to think outside the box, in order to progress anything. Because if you're just kind of following a formula, you're not doing art, you're doing math.
Yeah.
And no one wants to sit on their phones and watch math.
Yeah.
Except for my friend Steve, who's a mathematician. He would, but not me. I would want to watch, I want to watch art. And so like that was kind of my approach to storytelling. It was actually my boss's idea to start a TikTok account for the station. My fear with that in the beginning was like, we were going to be this 100-plus-year-old AM news radio station doing trends on social media, and like that would have been cringe, But I said, well, why don't we just tell great local stories like we're already doing on the air? Find a way to do what we do on the radio, but on social media. And it's worked.
Yeah.
It's worked great, and it's been a blast. It's been amazing for the station. It's been huge for my career, and I couldn't be happier doing it.
I love it. And then if we go back to those, so it's the pandemic or post-pandemic, and you're making these videos. How long did it kind of take you to find your footing in that? I'm sure, I think that there's probably, TikTok, I'm sure was new in general and probably new to you, right?
Yeah.
This is a different medium. So yeah, what was that? What was kind of that early time like?
It was very experimental in the beginning, and I like to think it is still very experimental. You should never stop experimenting.
Right.
That's when bands start to get bad, is when they get into like a rhythm and they're just doing the same thing over and over.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with like social media. It's like you should always be pushing yourself and trying new things. So in the beginning, we were literally, I would say it was literally just me in the beginning. I was taking my audio from the radio and just slapping random B-roll on top of it and putting it out there and seeing what happened. And we started to see the numbers go up a little bit, nothing crazy, but we'd start to see things start to pop off. And that was when I started realizing, oh, there's something here. There's something to this. This shouldn't just be an afterthought to my day job. Like I should put a lot of time and effort and thought into the videos that I'm capturing specifically for social media. And so we hit our first 1 million view video, and I was like, okay, this is it. I'm going hard on social media. And I've tried a bunch of weird stuff over the years, some that has worked, some that hasn't worked. I did a whole video where I sang my lines instead of speaking them. That was horrible. Don't go back and find that one. I did a whole video where I didn't say any lines at the St. Patty's Day parade in Boston. I just stood there with a sign. That was great. That worked out well. So it's just, but like, it's always fun to be trying new things. And I'm not mad that I sang. I'm a little mad that I didn't hit the notes, but I'm not mad that I tried it because I think it's important.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I know the St. Patty's Day video you're mentioning. Also quite liked your this year where you relived.
Where I decided not to go. Just played clips from over the years. Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. Look, I'm so glad people have fun at that parade, but like nobody factors in like the amount of work that goes into just being there. Not even like if you're reporting, but just like existing at that parade. You got to find parking, or you got to get there at like 6 a.m. and start drinking, which a lot of people do, which means you got to wake up at like 5 a.m. and no one wants to do that. So I just decided to take the year off, and I'm glad I did.
I respect it. I mean, I can only imagine. Right. So obviously, if you're going there to party, that's
sure.
You know what you're signing up for. You're going there, you're going to drink.
Absolutely.
But I think you make a good point about like if you're going there as a reporter, like that is the energy that you're just surrounding yourself in all day is like, that's a very crazy.
It's overwhelming. And it's nonstop. It's like most of the time when I go out and I'm recording interviews on the street with people, it's like I'll talk to one person for a while, then there's this big gap, and then I'm talking to someone else. It's like with the St. Patrick's Day audio, it's just like a consistent like 3-4 hours file of just people walking up and screaming, "Let's go!" And then I go back and I'm like, oh God, like which "let's go" is the "let's go" I'm going to use? Who's the best "let's go" here?
Thousands of "let's goes."
Which is fine. I get hyped like that too sometimes, but you know, my headphones are always just like put to the test by those sorts of stories. It's horrible.
Just 1,000 Jason Tatum jerseys screaming "let's go" at the same time.
Exactly. Love Tatum, love the Celtics, but man, my ears don't love St. Patrick's Day.
And then another, one of the segments that you do, or I don't know what you call series, perhaps, is the that I always get a kick out of is the "let's go to the town," and I think it's find something fun to do,
something
right?
cool.
Yeah. How did that kind of come about? And I was trying to find the first one. I don't know if I could identify the first one, but I get a kick out of those. Yeah.
Thanks. Someday I'll like put them all in a spreadsheet or something for people to easily access. That's the one thing that really stinks about like Instagram and TikTok is just like there's no real way to organize all your videos and stuff like there is on YouTube. Yeah. But anyway, so somebody had left a comment on a video just completely randomly. Go to Bellingham, try to find something cool. That's it. And I was like, well, that's the worst pitch ever. I'm going to do it. And so I went into the meeting with my, we have a morning meeting with all the reporters, and I said to the editors and stuff, someone challenged me to find something cool in Bellingham, and I'm going to go do it. They're like, okay, Matt, like, go have fun. And so I did, and it was well received. It wasn't my best one, but it was fine. Yeah. And so I said, you know what? This could be a series, because all the comments were just, hey, go to my town, go to my town. So by now, just about every town in Massachusetts has been requested. Yeah. Here's a little behind the scenes. I always say in the caption, by request, I'm in this town. I don't know who requested the town. Everyone's requesting every town. So I'm just going to try to get to every town. I will.
I love it. Do you have is there any certain amount you try to do in a month or a year? Is there like a...
Yeah, it's just every once in a while. I mean, I haven't done one in like maybe a month or two right now just because I've been so busy. But I want to get back to it because those videos, they are fun to do. People love them. The thing I love about them is they require like no prep. Yeah. There's no research, no booking interviews. I literally just show up in a town with zero knowledge and just see where the day takes me. Yeah. People take me. And inevitably, the comments are always like, you didn't go to this place or you didn't go to that place. That's not what it's about. Yeah. It's about finding the stuff that like no one's talking about. Yeah. Finding the stuff that Chronicle's not going to cover. Yeah.
That I actually was going to ask you specifically about that because it seems like you are freewheeling, which I know is not always the case, right? Sometimes people try and plan things out and then make it seem like it. But like to go in and to truly, you just are sometimes showing up in the town center, right? And just starting to talk to people, and that leads to another conversation,
Yep.
So that's truly how it's going.
That's truly how it's going. Every once in a while, people will DM me something like, hey, they'll give me some direction. They'll say, you got to check this place out. And I'm like, okay, that could be a good starting point.
Yeah.
But I never want to lose just the I don't know, the free, like you said, freewheeling nature of it. Because I don't want people to... I like the idea of somebody watching a video and having no idea where it's going to go next. Because to be honest, I don't know where it's going to go next.
No, it comes across.
Thank you.
It comes across, and I think you meet. Here's what I would say, right? Is if you were trying to, like, I'm trying to think of a video that you did that I quite like the Lynn one, right? That was maybe from a year ago or so.
Thank you.
Right?
Yeah, last summer.
So I thought that one was great. I thought if you couldn't plan that, right? You could never, if you tried to, those people aren't on social media. You can't DM them.
Right.
You may never find their email address.
Yeah,
Maybe
my
they don't.
Uber driver, the people, kids on the beach. Yeah.
Right. And I think there is we are so accustomed in life to setting things up and planning in advance now because of the internet.
Yeah.
And that it's inevitable. People don't go to restaurants without reservations anymore. Everything is kind of really detailed and dialed in before you leave your house. And I think you're tapping into something that can't be planned, as I think you put, which is
and that's just not the kind of person I am. You know? I like to. My wife definitely is more the planner. I like to just be like, let's just go and see where the day takes us.
Yeah.
And so I get paid to do that now, and that's pretty cool.
You're doing a good job.
Thank you.
So then, one final question on this would be: is there a town that has, or city that has surprised you the most?
Yeah, I had a ton of fun in Clinton, Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Random. What I knew about Clinton going into it was like how to get to my friend's house, who I used to drop off. Like, he would come hang out with us in Acton, and I'd give him a ride back to Clinton. But other than that, I knew it was way off the highway, and so I didn't know much. But they've actually got a pretty cute little downtown with some really friendly people, a really cool dam with a whole park that you can walk around, a cool old abandoned train tunnel, just the oldest active baseball diamond in America, which is just like random stuff like that. Yeah, that I never would have known had I not showed up in the place and started talking to people.
Yeah.
It's like all tourists come to Massachusetts and like go to Boston, they do the Freedom Trail, whatever. I'm telling you, go to Clinton.
Yeah.
You never know what you might find in Clinton, Massachusetts.
Yeah. Well, that's I love that. Now I got to go to Clinton.
Yeah, I know. I'm probably way overselling it. You're going to go there and be so disappointed. But like, to me, as someone who went in with zero expectations, like, I had a blast.
Yeah, no, I think it's true. I think that's kind of like, in a way, that's kind of what this show I'm trying to do, right? Is I think that there's just a lot of people here doing things that are super interesting that they don't get a lot of attention, right? Or don't get a lot.
Yeah.
I think there's people who live in you're with this town perspective, right? There's really good, unbelievable people who are born and live their whole lives and die in these towns, and their stories are important too, right? And
exactly.
But no one's talking. No one's going to Clinton or to Haverhill or Grafton or wherever, right? And they should be.
I think there's, unfortunately, in the news, like, there's this old school mentality where it's like, if it's not a tragedy, like, it's not a story, you know? But like, people's everyday lives aren't built around tragedies, It's like the guy from the bagel shop, my bagel shop that I go to right down the street from my house in Framingham, Cafe Fresh Bagel. Shout out Fandy, you're the man. Like, he's just such a great character, a lovable guy. He calls everyone who walks in there handsome. He's like, hey, handsome guy, what are you having? Hey, handsome guy. He's just this amazing, hilarious old Egyptian dude. And I was like, why can't he be a story? And so I interviewed him, and sure enough, people loved Fandy.
Yes, I think that's great.
Yeah.
I think that's really great.
Totally.
So then here's a question, right? You've met a lot of interesting people. I think you have met, or no, I don't think you've met politicians, right? You've met celebrities. Is there a local person in any genre, sports, celebrity, politics, anything, that you, from here, that you would love to have in a video? Is there someone who, if you could handpick a Bostonian or someone from the Commonwealth, who would it be?
I mean, the first one that comes to mind is Chris Evans. I have a lot of connections with him, like people I know who know him and stuff like that. And I know he lives here.
Yeah.
I know what town he lives in. It's like top secret. I'm not going to blow up Captain America's spot here. But I would love to make a video with him. Just go around town. He grew up in Sudbury. Like, let's take a tour of Sudbury. You know, I haven't done trying to find something cool in Sudbury yet. So if we could go around Sudbury with Chris Evans, that would be amazing. Yeah, Chris.
Tag Chris Evans.
You watching? Absolutely. I know your family, Chris. I've met your sister. I know what town you live in. This is gonna get me like blocked on every platform by Chris Evans.
Chris Evans, that's a good one.
He's the first one that came to mind.
He's definitely in the, I would say, the modern Mount Rushmore, perhaps, or maybe just the all-time, right?
Probably, yeah. I mean, he made a heck of a lot of money. I mean, he got into the Marvel Cinematic Universe right in the beginning.
Yeah.
And but it's more so than about just like making money. He seems like a cool dude. Seems like a down-to-earth guy.
Seems like he would like to help find something fun in a town.
Oh, I can't believe I didn't think of this. I got another really good one.
Yeah.
Steve Carell.
Yeah.
I did a video on my hometown of Acton, Massachusetts, and I wanted to clear up a very important rumor that some people think Steve Carell is from Concord. He's not. But I can tell you why they think he's from Concord. It's because Emerson Hospital is from Concord, and all Actonians are born there, including myself and Steve Carell. So when you look at Wikipedia, it says born in Concord, Massachusetts, but he didn't grow up there. He just that's where the hospital was. And he did go to private school in Concord too. I will say that. Fenn School, I do know that. But yeah, no, he grew up in South Acton, and I know this because I know his family too. I went to high school with his nieces. They all still live. The Carell family is still very big in town in Acton. But I've never met Steve himself. Okay. And so I would love to go around with Steve Carell and redo Acton. Not even explore the town, just hang out with him. Maybe a day in the life of Steve Carell.
Yeah.
He lives now, from last I heard, I think, well, maybe I shouldn't say this. Yeah. I'll say South Shore.
Yeah, he has. I know he's bought a general store.
Yes, in Marshfield.
Yeah.
That's not where he lives, but yeah. Exactly. He's around.
Those are too good. Yeah. God, we could. So Steve Carell.
I could do this all day. Yeah, Steve Carell. Let's go.
I was trying to, as you were talking, I was like, what is the? There's so many more people than I think everyone just defaults to like Matt Damon and Ben Affleck and Mark Wahlberg, and there's like there's so many.
I know there are. You know, another one I would say he's not from here, but like he lives here most of the time now, is Gronk, who I've actually had in a few videos, and he's great. He's cool. But I'd love to just like spend a day with him. Yeah. Because of all the famous people that I have met and celebrities and athletes and stuff, he is by far the most authentic and down to earth. And like, the Gronk that you see in interviews and stuff, the jokey, funny, like laugh it up kind of guy, that is the Gronk you get in real life. Yeah. So I'd love to hang out with him and, I don't know, do MTV Cribs style stuff at his mansion. And I don't know if he still lives in Foxborough, but maybe wherever he lives. Yeah, that's a good, we're assembling a new Boston Avengers for you to put together, right? to borrow from Chris Evans's that's right day job. Yeah. So we've got Steve Carell. What a crew! Steve Carell, Gronk. Yep. Chris Evans. Oh man. And then, I know. And then there are so many others. There's a lot. There's a lot. We have a lot of famous people. Yeah. Absolutely. Maybe who's. I was gonna say, and Karen Reed. It was like I was trying to think who. It's like so dark that I was like, who's a recent famous person? Yeah. and that's where it went. Is like, dude, can I tell you? I have just like chosen to sit out the Karen Reed trial. I kind of have as well. Yeah, like it's just every day there's some kind of development, and it's always like, well, someone on the jury said something bad on social media, so now they have to do the whole trial over again. It's a mistrial. I don't know. It's just like. There's all these little updates, and it's so hard to follow at this point that I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to let reporters who are way smarter than me handle it. Yeah. Shout out Christina Rex at WBZ TV, who just got her law degree. She is way more qualified to talk about this. Shout out to Emma Friedman at WBZ News Radio, where I work. She's been doing a great job on this one, too. And I'm just going to hang out and just go explore more towns. It is, I think that's the right, I have the same attitude, but it is captivating people. Yeah. And it's so weird to be consciously trying to not like
learn about it and yet have it be present everywhere all the time. Right?
Yeah.
Like I know way more than I
Then you want
Then I
to.
want to,
You've
yeah.
heard so much more about this trial against your consent than you ever would have wanted to hear.
I mean, think about it. We were just naming legitimate A-list people, and my dumb brain went to Karen Reed to round out the foursome. That is incredible.
Yeah. Sorry, I just took a big bite.
No, you're good. You're good.
And my whole thing is whenever people bring up the Karen Reed trial, it's usually like one of my friends' moms. They'll be like, so how about Karen Reed, huh? And I'll be like, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen either. And they just go off and I'm just like, yeah, I agree.
Yeah. It's moms, I would say like.
The mom crowd for sure.
Like if you are a white woman between the ages of 30 and 70, you know everything about Karen Reed.
Yes, you do.
You know everything. You have your conspiracies. You're down rabbit holes. You're calling your friends.
Your group chat is a true crime podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Right? You're trying to uncover. You're
trying to solve the Karen Reed case.
That is what I believe. So shout out to those.
And I love a good local mystery. I do. But
I know you.
Let's find that Gardner Museum painting too. While we're at it,
I was gonna say we got to turn you on the Gardner Museum. You'd
I'd solve it.
We get one. You start with an Uber driver. You end up somewhere in East Boston in a storage locker, and all of a sudden there's the paintings.
Yeah, right. But I mean, that's the thing about the Uber driver too and stuff is like. You could talk to a certain demographic of old-timey Bostonian types, and they'll tell you, "Oh, I think I know who did it. Yeah. I know, I know who took that painting."
Yeah,
and so I love that.
Yeah, it's everybody knows somebody who knew a guy who was in that crew. If you're over a certain age in Boston, right?
Yep. Or I used to babysit for the son of the security guard. Stuff like that.
Do you get any feedback or any comments more than others? Like, is there some common refrain that Bostonians and people from Massachusetts are commenting in your videos?
Usually very positive. I know here I am kind of alluding to like negative and criticism and stuff, but the truth is like I think because I'm doing such overwhelmingly positive stories that the comments kind of reflect that too. Yeah. I've heard people describe my stuff as unhinged chronicle, which I like, which is very fitting.
I think that's a compliment.
Yeah. I like one thing that I do that no one else is really doing in this town, at least not in news, is having these like recurring characters, people who like come back and they're in one video and then they're in another video. And I've seen people describe it as the Matt Shearer cinematic universe. And I love that, going back to Avengers. Things like that. Early on I wasn't in the videos at all. Like it was literally just from my perspective. But when I finally did turn the camera around and be in a shot, people lost their minds. They were commenting like, oh my gosh. I think one of the best comments, and I saved this one, I screenshot it. Someone said, I can't believe Matt Shearer is like a real person and not just some cryptid or figment of our imagination. Like, the first time I mentioned that I have kids really blew people's minds. I think they had this vision of me being this like college intern who just got let loose on social media, really like, oh, I'm in my 30s. So.
He's a whole human.
Yeah. But so no, overall it's been good. And I don't do rage bait stuff like ever, but I have a couple of times done campus pizza tours on Boston where it started off, I was like, I wonder if I could hit every college cafeteria within the city of Boston in like a day. And I failed. It took me 2 days. But I got to try a lot of good pizza, and I was like, I'm going to do a tier list, because I didn't want to review the pizza. I feel like pizza reviews are kind of already cornered that niche on social media. So I was like, I'm going to just make a tier list. And I went in, and I was expecting people to get really mad at me for like ranking their school pizza too low. But the opposite happened. People were getting mad that I was ranking their pizza too high.
Our pizza sucks.
Yeah, exactly. They'd be like, what are you talking about? That's A tier. That's easily F. But there was at least one person who got really mad on this, like, because my lowest, I put Simmons, unfortunately. I wanted Simmons to do so well. I didn't want to seem like a misogynist by saying that the all-women's school in Boston was the worst pizza. But it's true. The pizza was the worst. And so there was an anonymous confessions page that, like, blew up about it. Most of the comments were like, Matt Shearer came to our campus like, yeah, it stinks that he tried our pizza. Our pizza's not good. But one person did leave an angry comment about me, which said, the pizza from Fens slaps. I don't know who TF Matt Shearer is. He can kiss my ass. And I was like, I just love that. So I made it into a t-shirt. And yeah, it's pretty cool. I wear this around town. It's a good conversation starter.
I love it.
Drop kids off with this.
So a student at Simmons.
Yes, left an anonymous confession on Instagram.
Loves their pizza so much.
Yes.
That they hate you now.
Correct. Yeah, exactly.
I'd love to just kind of throw out a couple of rapid fire questions at you here, and we'll sort of end on some fun stuff, which would be.
Let me just real quick wash this pizza down with some locally made Polar Seltzer.
Shout out Worcester.
Taste of Worcester.
Shout out Worcester. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna start with this one, which is, do you have a favorite meal in Massachusetts? Your death row, last night on Earth. What are you getting? Where are you going?
You mentioned my Lynn video earlier, and I'm not kidding you. I had some of the best food I've ever had in my life. It was my first time having Dominican food at this place, Rincon Macorizano, which I never would have known had my Uber driver not sent me there. He just took me there. I had navigated to like this one taco place in town, and he was like, oh, no. You got to try this Dominican place. And so for free, my Uber driver drove me to the other side of town and dropped me at this place. And I have not been able to stop thinking about it.
Yeah.
I rarely get a meal where I go home and I'm like, man, I need more of that. But I've been chasing that high ever since I had Dominican food for the first time. And literally all it was like chicken, rice, and beans.
Yeah.
But whatever the hell they put in that thing made me want more.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Yeah, that's a great answer. The dispute of best Dominican food between Dorchester and Lynn has come up a couple times on this show.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man.
So I have gotten some stuff from Lynn. A place called Tipico.
Okay.
I've not had the pleasure of Dominican food in Dorchester.
Same.
But there are apparently some really good spots that people are very proud of. So,
I believe it. I posted in like my local Facebook group. This is a very millennial thing to do. Being like, where's there good Dominican food in Framingham? And people were like, there isn't. So I guess I gotta go back to Lynn to have more Rincon Macorizano.
There's Brazilian in Framingham, right?
Correct. The Brazilian, Brazilian steakhouses are so good. Shout out Framingham Station. It's $50 a person, but it's all you can eat. Okay. And I had never been that was my first experience at like a Brazilian steakhouse. I didn't know the whole system, but have you ever been?
Yeah.
Yeah. They literally will just constantly be coming to your table with more meat. Yes, exactly. Green means give me more meat. Red means like I need a break.
Yeah.
And you can just sit there for hours.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I agree. It's a Brazilian steakhouse is like you have to be in a certain kind of mood.
Yeah.
But if you are in that mood,
yes,
there's nothing better in the world.
You have to have that plan to be all three of your meals in one sitting.
Yeah,
basically.
And you're gonna go home and sleep.
Yeah.
Get the meat sweats.
100%.
Cool. That's an awesome answer.
Great.
All right. Next question is: you have a weekend away, anywhere in New England. Do you have a favorite destination?
You know, growing up, we were a Cape Cod family, but I would go further down the Cape than my family would always take me. We would be like the Mashpee, Barnstable area, but like once you get past the Elbow, like that's when you get the real fun stuff. You get the Wellfleet Drive-In, you get P-Town. I love P-Town. I hope I'm not gentrifying by saying that, but like it's so fun.
It's too far gone.
Yeah, exactly. I know, I'm sure, right? But it's like a walkable city with so much fun to do, great beaches. So like, the further down the Cape you go, the beaches get better. Marconi Beach, you know what? Here's a fun fact for you. You know why it's called that? It's named after Guillermo Marconi, who invented the antenna and sent radio waves across the Atlantic Ocean for the first time from that beach. So the industry that I work in, radio, is all thanks to Massachusetts. See, Massachusetts is amazing.
I love that. Marconi Beach. You know, my family's long gone to Wellfleet. I had no idea.
Hell yeah.
What a fraud
Here's
I am.
a fun fact for you, man. No, you're not a fraud. It's just nobody cares about the radio, so I'm educating you.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think once you get past the Orleans Rotary to the Outer Cape, Eastham, Wellfleet, Truro, Provincetown, it's just so unique out there. It feels like my mom used to describe it. My mom's from Virginia, and she describes that area of the Cape as what I imagined Cape Cod being like as a kid growing up in Virginia.
Yes, totally.
And I was like, she said that, I was like, that's it.
And you get the adrenaline rush of trying not to be eaten by a shark while you swim out there too on the National Seashore. Yeah. It's great.
Yeah, it's I love it. So we are
100%
in sync on that. Okay, and then this is another question that I think is I love people's answers on this one, which is, do you have a favorite budget meal? Something that's, not going to break the bank, but always kind of delivers a good.
Yeah, we need to talk about hot dogs because hot dogs are the ultimate budget meal.
It's
like
true.
They're super cheap. Shout out Simcoe's in Mattapan.
Yeah.
You can get a hot dog the size of your forearm for like $5 with chili on top, and so that's basically a 2-course meal right there.
Yeah.
Also going to shout out a place where I did an interview one time, Zippity Doo Dogs in Framingham, because it's a little cart. It looks like a little like trolley, but it's a teeny little cart in a parking lot. And the hot dogs are good. They have a huge menu, but you can also pay for a stranger's meal there. And so I personally watched as multiple people walked up and said, hey, hard times, can I have a meal? And the guy, Roland, who runs the place, he's like, yeah, sure. And he'll just like give out free meals. So I did a video about that program, and he actually had to stop taking donations because so many people showed up to donate, which is awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so shout out to Roland. So, I mean, if you want to talk about a budget meal, it doesn't get any better than free.
That is
so there's that. If you're really on a budget.
But also it's a budget meal if you're paying and you can do a good thing and you can pay it forward, right?
Yeah.
So that checks like every box.
Exactly. Yeah. So shout out. It's right next to TJX headquarters if you're looking for it. And then there's another really good hot dog that I wanted to talk about too, but I can't remember it right now. Shout out. Rest in peace to Spikes. I know they still exist in Providence, but we got to bring them back. Those big, giant, juicy dogs on top of the fresh baked French roll. Oh, those were so good.
No one has given a hot dog answer for anything on this show, and I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Because I am also a hot dog. I love
connoisseur.
I don't know if I'm going to give myself that level of gravitas.
Okay.
But I do love a hot dog. I think to me, like the best thing in the entire world is like a hot dog at Fenway on a hot day.
Oh yeah.
In the sun. Like that to me is like
which, by the way you just described the Fenway Frank is perfect because it's not even about the dog itself. It's about the ambiance, the atmosphere. It's like Fenway Franks, let's be honest, kind of mid hot dogs. but like when you're there, it's so special and nothing tastes better. Yeah, I agree. Shout out Jamie Loftus, a journalist from Brockton, Massachusetts, who wrote a whole book about the history of hot dogs. You should check that out. And also, shout out, I did remember the other hot dog. Now, this is not a budget meal at all because the hot dogs are like expensive, but for a good reason. Their premium hot dog is Hot Doogie in Framingham. Actually, Natick. It's just over the Framingham line. They just opened up their second location, literally right across the street. But it's Brazil. I'm not even kidding. At the Natick Mall. But so they're Brazilian-style hot dogs, and their Doogie Deluxe is my go-to. They'll give you a hot dog with mashed potatoes on it, corn, potato sticks, bacon, chives. It's so good. And they make their own like fresh in-house mayo. It's delicious.
Oh, wow.
And it's like never busy in there. And that's why I want to shout them out because they totally deserve the business. The Doogie Deluxe. And like, yes, it's expensive, but it'll fill you up. It's good.
The Doogie Deluxe.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it sounds disgusting.
Next time I'm at the mall.
You're gonna be dropping a Doogie Deluxe after you eat this, I'm telling you. But it is delicious. It's so delicious.
Oh, that's great. These are good.
Thanks.
These are good recommendations.
Thank you.
And then I guess final food-related question would be.
I know you said rapid fire, and I'm just like rambling.
No. These answers are fantastic answers.
Good.
Final food-related question would be. Do you think there is a type of cuisine that is done here that we do really well. If
Yeah.
it's not, I think seafood in Italian is the common things, but is there anything besides that?
Yeah, not seafood in Italian, absolutely. So, having grown up in Acton and now living in Framingham, I was always kind of jealous of the North Shore, how they had their roast beef, and the South Shore, how they had their bar pizza. It's like, what's our Metro West identity? We don't really have one. It's like, what is it, Jordan's Furniture at Natick? Like, where they, I don't know. But like, the truest New England cuisine that no one ever talks about, but is so good, and it's what I grew up on, is Greek-style pizza.
Ah, yes.
We had a place in Acton where I grew up, New London style pizza. It's always like, a so-and-so house of pizza or village pizza, something like that. It's controversial because a lot of people don't like it. It's greasy as hell and, but it has nothing to do with grease either. Like, well, the country grease, I mean. Yeah, but the grease, yes, there is grease on the pizza. But yeah, it's the taste of New England. It's something you get here that, like, I was just talking to somebody recently, not from New England, and I mentioned, it's like a Greek pizza place. And they're like, Greek pizza?
Yeah.
I think they're picturing it being cooked on like a pita bread with like feta cheese.
Like shawarma.
Yeah, exactly. But no, man, like Greek style pizza, that's what it's all about.
Yeah. The light crust. It's because Greek people worked at those restaurants, right?
Correct.
That's the reason.
Yeah, it was like Greek families would immigrate here and start, and I don't know how it came to be, but they all started making a very similar style pizza. There was like this one family that ran the place near me in Acton for so many years. It was like this old man and like all his kids and wife and daughters. Like I remember one of his kids literally went from Acton Boxborough Regional High School graduation to like serving pizzas, and she was still in her graduation cap, like hanging. It's like that's the kind of family-run business that you want,
Yeah. I think we have better pizza than is given.
Yeah.
I think those are great references or recommendations.
Thank you. You ever had beach pizza on the North Shore?
No.
This is like a low-key. I didn't know about this until I married a woman from the North Shore, but what it is it's like there's two places in particular in Salisbury, Mass. that sell it. There's Tripoli and Christie's, and people from up on the North Shore will like fight over which one's better. But it's the same thing pretty much, minus different ingredients. It's like a flat kind of square pizza with sauce, and then if you ask for it, they'll put a slice of provolone or American cheese on it, not shredded. Just like a slice of cheese on it.
Beach pizza.
Beach pizza, so it's called. Yes.
It's supposed to be just like a on-the-go, easy type thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a window. It's not a sit-down restaurant. You walk up to either Christie's or Tripoli's. Sweet sauce, I notice, is Christie's, and the other, and Tripoli's is just like, your more classic sauce, from what I've gathered. It's it's fine. It's good. It's a North Shore delicacy that no one talks about.
I love that. That has not ever once come up on this show. We've had people who are pretty well representing the North Shore.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, we're making history here today.
That's great, and everyone talks about the bar pie. So the North Shore. I tell you what, the people the people get the most mad is people from the South Shore when someone disparages bar pizza.
Right.
They get you went to the wrong place.
Very defensive.
You're an idiot. And it's not me. Yeah. It's like it's the I don't have a problem.
Right.
I kind of don't mind the little. I think bar pizza is like it's just supposed to be something that you eat kind of while you're at a bar. I think that's the whole point of it. It's not supposed to be like this whole. You don't plan your whole night around bar pizza. That was always my understanding.
A Michelin 5-star thing. No, but you're right. People get defensive. They're like Dave Matthews fans when you insult Dave Matthews. They're like, you don't understand. You only heard the radio hits, man. It's like no, it is what it is. But there's another delicacy that came from the South Shore that is all over the world now that nobody ever talks about its Massachusetts roots. And I want to say it right now. You're welcome, world, for chocolate chip cookies. They were invented in Whitman, Massachusetts by Ruth Graves Wakefield. She was working at the Toll House. That was her inn, the Toll House Inn. And one day she had like just random ingredients. She wasn't able to make the cookies that she needed to make. So she just mixed the batter with some chocolate chips. And that was the first chocolate chip cookie ever.
Dude, you have unbelievable historical Knowledge. Anecdotes.
I just never leave Massachusetts. This is the one benefit to not traveling the world. I have to see the sights around here.
That's like the third thing that I would have never in a million years ever guessed.
There you go. Yeah. So you're welcome, world, for chocolate chip cookies and basketball right here in Massachusetts. But the other thing is that, like, if you try to go visit it now, I think there's a plaque outside, but the old location of the Toll House Inn is now a McDonald's, and those cookies don't live up to their history in that location.
Yeah, I am afraid all cool old things are going that way, right? Mm-hmm. Everything's gonna be a McDonald's one day.
Pretty much. Yeah. This is America.
All right, and then in closing, Matt, I'd love to just, if there's anything, we've talked a lot about sort of where you started, how you've kind of made your way, and then these incredible stories you've been telling. Mm-hmm. Is there anything that you are excited about in the future for your career, or any stories you're looking to tell, or anything that is kind of on the horizon that is, something that's you want to share?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much I can share, but I have all kinds of ideas for different series that I'm going to be starting soon, and some projects outside of WBZ that I'm really excited about getting off the ground. So, the sky's the limit. I'm just really lucky that I get to do a job that I feel like I would be doing anyways if I wasn't getting paid. Yeah. Just walking around and talking to random strangers in Massachusetts. That's who I am. It's what I like to do. So, and it means the world that enough people care to tune in and follow along.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited.
Thanks, Jack.
I hope that it's we see you on small screen, on medium screen, on large screens, and everything, cool. And everything in between. So. Excited to see everything that comes next, and
hell yeah.
Appreciate you coming in.
Thanks, Jack. Thanks for the pizza. This was so good.
My pleasure.
Awesome.